See this is as a tug of war that's happening between regulators on one side and customers on the other, and the poor OEMs are stuck in between. The regulators want to do the electrification as early as possible, and they expect the customers to pay, but the customers are not willing to shell out. They expect that the price of EV should be equal to price of IC engine, and it should have the same amount of time that it takes to refuel, etc. So basically they are not ready to change their habits, and that's what makes it tough for the OEMs to straddle both the ends. I think it's hard.
And so that tug of war has sort of emerged as evolutions, I suppose, that are working simultaneously, right,
Absolutely.
Vivek? Because in China, you've got a situation where it's like the government has just decided it's going to be all EVs.
No tug of war.
Exactly. That's the way it's going to be. But then in the US, you've got this interesting sort of dynamic playing out with the EV adoption pace not just being there. That's why, of course, you've got the hybrids. But then in Europe, that's a fascinating one too, because then you've got these European car makers that are trying to play catch-ups now and having to sort of set up these JVs with the Chinese automakers in order to continue to compete in that market too.
Yeah. So taking the same analogy forward, in China, there is no tug of war. Both are on the same side. Government says do it, and customers are doing it. In US, probably the tug of war customers are winning because they have a higher bargaining power. So that's also okay, that's sorted. But I worry about European players, because I think that's where the tug of war probably is the strongest, and the regulators are very decisive. And there is a set of customers who believe that they have to do their bit for environment, and that's why the governments keep getting elected. But then there are other set of customers who don't really want to shell out any extra money to save environment, and that's where the conflict is between whether to go 100% electric or stick on with the ICE engine and have more share given to hybrid. Now, one interesting thing is, Europe is also not traditionally a very hybrid-friendly market. And so that's where you see the tug of war very intense, and OEMs are stuck. Yeah.
Vivek, you said you're worried about the European car makers, automakers. What about the Japanese automakers? How do you think they are faring? Because when we look at Nissan, obviously, the results tell that story, but Toyota, on the other hand, has been doing very well and making the most of that hybrid strategy, particularly in the US. How long do you think that's going to last? Because you've got the likes of GM at the beginning of this year going back and now getting on the bandwagon of hybrids.
So I won't classify all Japanese OEMs in the same category. If you see Nissan was the first EV manufacturer who produced battery electric vehicles, and they decided that they want to go battery electric way before BYD, way before Tesla. Almost about 20 years ago, they rolled out Nissan Leaf. So they did not really get on the bandwagon of hybrid vehicles, whereas Toyota and Honda have hybrid vehicles. So three companies, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, they have hybrid as an option. Now, other Japanese OEMs like Suzuki, Mazda, I think let's keep them aside. They are too small. So talking about big three, two of them are focusing on hybrid, one of them focusing on EVs, and the results are in front of you.